Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. I do apologize for running a little late today, guys. I had a flight delayed. I do love Frontier, but sometimes, not the most reliable. Okay, so to get started today, we're going to start talking about this crazy story that has been in the news. So, Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was recently shot. So, in broad daylight, this random masked guy comes up and shoots him. Broad daylight. Everyone's very confused. No one really sees this coming. Then the shooter apparently was on his way out and starts flirting with a desk girl. And apparently, the desk girl flirted with him to get him to lower his mask. Now, apparently, this guy, very good-looking man, and all the girls on Twitter are swooning over this guy. And it turns out they've officially ID'd him as Luigi. I'm gonna give you running my nose, watering my eyes, sloppy, nail biting, sweating, kicking, lip glocking, skin peel. I mean, this is one of the top, now we got, oh, sorry guys. Now we got, he's hot and an activist. So apparently he has been taken into custody, they said, and he hasn't been charged. And the ladies, we're very worried about the safety of the CEOs of this country. When she says, I don't care, free him. He is hot. Oh, he's even hotter with his mask and shirt off. Oh, he's hot. Quick, what prison is he going to? I need to start scheduling conjugal visits. I need him bad. Y'all called him a super genius and he didn't leave the country. So this was an interesting case for more than one reason. So this was a guy that had a very good background, right? He was well liked by his friends and family, and he was very smart. He went to an Ivy evolutionary psychology type tweets, and it's just really, really random. So on top of that, his friends and family it seems like they all think this is wrong, that they have the story wrong, service and other things like that. At the end of the prosecutor's speech, Luigi said, I actually want to address two of the things that you said. I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted. Oh. So I always forget to do that one, guys. Okay.
Aaron, well, yeah, I'll say just about an hour ago, I was there inside that courthouse watching as Luigi Mangione walked right past myself and a number of other reporters. He was wearing a blue shirt, blue jeans. He was, of course, handcuffed, and he looked, even in this court appearance, visibly distressed, but he kept his brow furrowed through the duration of this arraignment hearing. And I should say what was interesting, though, Aaron, is you said we haven't heard a statement from the suspect. He did actually speak inside of that courtroom to the judge and to all the folks who were in there. But it was on very selective issues, and I'll just kind of go through what we heard. The judge asked Luigi Mangione a number of questions, first about his identity. So Mr. Mangione confirmed that that is his real name. He initially said that his residence was in Maryland, but then the judge actually pressed him on that. And then he said, actually, I have lived at various addresses before then ultimately giving an address in Honolulu, Hawaii. Then he also said that he's worked for 3 years as a data engineer up until about a year ago. And he also told the judge that he has no drug or mental health problems that the court needs to know about. But Aaron, one of the most interesting parts of that particular hearing was actually his statements after the conversation about bail. The prosecutors basically stepped up there and made the case why they believe that this man should be held without bail. They mentioned that he is awaiting potentially an arrest warrant coming from New York City as one of the major reasons. But they also said that prosecutors noted that they found him with $8,000 in U.S. cash, $2,000 in foreign currency, his passport, and also a Faraday bag, which is basically a bag designed to stop transmission of cell service or other sort of things like that. At the end of his speech, the prosecutor's speech, Luigi Mangione said, I actually want to address two of the things that you said. He said, I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted. And then he also said that that bag was waterproof. And the term that the prosecutors used when discussing the Faraday bag, the ghost guns, the 3D printed silencer, was the prosecutors used a phrase saying this is criminal sophistication. Luigi Mangione said, I don't know about any of this criminal sophistication when addressing that. But it's just interesting, Aaron, that of all of the things that were mentioned in that court appearance, the two that he noted or took issue with was the currency and then that bag.
And the other thing that's interesting is they found him at a McDonald's 5 days later with the murder weapon. This guy's an Ivy League educated, smart man. Like, why is he holding on to the murder weapon? Okay, so apparently, on top of that, he has a YouTube video that is scheduled 2 days from now. I will be very skeptical if this gets released, but apparently he uploaded a cryptic pre-recorded video of his YouTube channel titled The Truth after his arrest. It is believed he is using a script to release this content. The assassin claims that there will be more revealed shortly. Okay. They say probably not his actual YouTube channel. Was it a setup? Guys, I am lost. I am not a... Okay, so let me see what else we have. Apparently his sister also was tweeting. They said, just when you thought his day couldn't get any worse, Luigi unfortunately does not pay for premium, so he will not receive any of the ad revenue when everyone views his profile today. And they just recently nuked his channel. Like, if you went up earlier today, you kind of scrolled through his tweets and stuff. But this is what his Twitter looked like. I don't know the anime stuff, but apparently this guy... or Pokemon, I don't know. But apparently I saw something that said he is mostly peaceful but can be deadly. And then apparently a year ago, he disappeared from his friends and family. So his friends and family said he was acting normal up to a year ago, where apparently he quit his job. I guess he suffered a back injury, so surfing in Hawaii, so that's possible that maybe that was part of the reason he randomly shot the CEO of a healthcare company. And so I don't know what this guy's doing, but okay, I just wanted to start with that because I think that we need more updates on this case till we really know what's going on. Twitter's just going crazy right now. Also, guys, if you want, go to theaudacitynetwork.com and sign up for my monthly or yearly memberships in order to... I read your comment on the show. So right now we're going to read... I'm going to see if we have any comments. But all you have to do is you get to be a part of our live chat. And then every time we're live, I do read your comments. It's $10 a month. So normally on YouTube, you have to super chat every time. Not here. You just go to the website and I read it. Okay. And we're also on the App Store. So you can download the Audacity app on your smartphone. Okay. So, you know, guys, we have been talking about Lily Phillips. So that is a woman that is constantly trying to, she keeps trying to set records for how many men she can sleep within a day. So as you guys know, she is a sex worker, and I'm sure she'll be next on the Michael Knowles podcast when she finds God in 6 months. But right now, she is trying to sleep with as many men as humanly possible. She's shooting for 1,000, which I guess is the world record. So there was one day where she did 100 men in a day, and they recorded her reaction after. And I want to talk about the video and then society's reaction to this.
When was the last time you ate?
I think I had a yum yum, and I think I had a sandwich, and that was and then the rest. It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very it's kind of like being a in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
It's not like just having sex with someone.
yeah, just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what we have here is what people that don't understand women think is regret. You think that she is crying because she slept with 100 men in a day. No, no, no. She's crying to sell the documentary. And it's interesting. I was reading the comments and I just keep thinking how stupid people are. How did we keep falling for this? She slept with 100 men in a day. Now she's pushing for 1,000, but you think she regrets the 100 men in a day. What's more important? Again, I always go back to this. Actions, words. But for some reason, the internet will just, and I want to show exactly how society coddles these ladies who know exactly what they're doing. Poor girl, a product of a broken society. It's so easy to judge, but few have walked in the shoes of beautiful women who seemingly have the world at her feet. Female beauty is both a gift and a curse. That is why historically, female sexuality was always held behind the reins, not solely out of oppression, but to protect women from being the architects of their own downfall. Now, it goes back to the question, are women children or do we have agency? Are we responsible for the decisions that we make? So in this case, we say it's a product of a broken society. Is it a product of a broken society? I didn't do that. I know a lot of women that said, you know what? We're going to not do that. We're going to, I'm good. But you have the ladies that make this choice. And, life comes with choices and trade-offs. So I have no sympathy. I don't think that she really feels any remorse. And I think that everybody giving her sympathy in the comments is stupid. Respectfully. I love you guys, you know what I mean? But in the most respectful way. Okay. Pancake said, it's a shame that literally no one could have told her that sleeping with 100 men in one go was a terrible idea. At least she's able to share her experience so others might learn from it. Yeah, you're right. I am sure she got no pushback for doing this. And I am sure, yeah, it goes again. What do you mean? You're blaming society for one person's actions? She sold her body for fame and money. She proactively chose that. No different from someone wanting to be an engineer or a doctor. She chose that event. But unfortunately, guys, there just is always, always, always going to be, there's always going to be a simp. And as you guys know, I have been fighting on the front lines of the simp epidemic for years, but I need to tell you guys about a quiet weapon being ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just about the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues that we discuss on the show. Did you know that the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often contains estrogen from birth control, and the average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic every week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average. So it's no wonder that the average male's testosterone is half of what it was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year. Without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at CHOQ.com are on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk's male vitality stat contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to boost your testosterone naturally. Just one of the many ingredients in the double-blind Just one of the ingredients in the male vitality stack was studied in a double-blind human clinical trial to boost total testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity, you're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack right now on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com, and use my name Pearl as your coupon code, and you'll get 25% off site wide. CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code. Okay. Joel has a comment. He says, "Oh, I'm a little girl. I'm a victim." Alexander, "Wow, that girl looks like someone who spent a month stranded on an island, miserable, malnourished, and heartbroken." Yeah, I think she's acting. And that's the thing you have to realize about these OnlyFans ladies. They are so good at manipulating male emotion. That in the same way a sleazy salesman is very good at selling you things you don't need. I mean, do you guys want the guy from Wolf of Wall Street managing your money? Seriously. I personally am good on that. Her, on the other hand, so when she does this Cry Me a River, I regret it in 6 months. Somebody's gonna buy it and have them on her show. We'll just see
A yum yum.
who the guy is. Okay, so let me see. Oh, this was hilarious. Okay, so the next story we're going to talk about today is the emergence of female commenters in men's sports. So as you guys know, women have the commodity of beauty. And it is not to say that they're not smart, talented women. YouTube, just so you know, there are. So not all. But women do have that as a commodity to sell. And that is one thing that helps the ladies in media. And one trend that we have seen is influencers going into spaces that they really don't have the credibility for. And one thing that I've heard many men complain about is the emergence of female commentators in football. So about 6 months ago, football, soccer, men's sports. So about 6 months ago, I was on the Piers Morgan show, and Joey Barton had a similar comment that we're going to go over at the time. And he said he was sick of, I'm paraphrasing, but he was sick of seeing these influencer women just overtaking women's sports. And they brought on these other two commentators that really were just raking him, that were really just attacking him for this opinion. And I'm a woman. I've played volleyball for 16 years. I played basketball also for 16 years. And the thing is, when you are an athlete, you see how different the male and female sports are. So even being someone that played overseas, I would still say that women will never understand male sports in the same way that men do. And it's very rare that women have the credibility and experience to do it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it does, but it's rare. So there was a guy named TJ Moore on Twitter. He said, "Who actually wants to watch three women stand around and talk about football? I do not." And he actually doubled down about a day later and said, "This tweet upsets some folks, so let me clarify. No one wants to listen to three women talk about football. Men are better at it. It's like asking cats to bark. I issue no apologies and no retractions. Most people agree with me. They're just too afraid to say it. Carry on with your outrage." Now, the funniest part about this whole thing is that the woman in this actually responded. And let me show you guys.
Talk about it. So I saw this on X the other day, and I think we should talk about it. I'll move out of the way so you can read what he said first. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and so I looked at the comments and I looked at the replies, and what most men were saying is that they want to listen to people talk about sports that they have once played. Fine, fair enough. However, some of the highest paid sports broadcasters in the world are men who haven't played a sport past the high school level. Joe Buck, Jim Nance, Jim Rome, Al Michaels, just to name a few.
men that played up to the high school level, I would argue, no more than women that played past college. Because again, men and women's, I've never played football, but I'm thinking in terms of basketball. Men and women's basketball is a completely different sport. The men are dunking. The men are way more aggressive than the women. They are just two different games.
There are also so many legendary coaches who have never played past the high school level. So you don't need to play at a high level in your respected sport to have a deep understanding about it. So let's break it down. You're a woman who wants to work in the sports industry and you have a deep understanding of sports and you're qualified to be there. However, you'll never get the highest opportunities because men only want to listen to other men talk about sports. So use whatever else you have in your toolbox to be able to get opportunities. Maybe that's your looks. As soon as you use your looks, for example, then you're objectifying yourself and no one will take you seriously. But even when you weren't, you were never taken seriously or given the opportunities because men want to listen to other men talk about sports. It is a vicious cycle and it's never ending. But your counter is, well, women can talk about women's sports, but women's sports don't get the funding, which means they don't get.
Yeah, because we suck. Look, I'm not trying to be rude. I love women's sports. They are extremely fun to play, and I'm eternally grateful for the men that have funded women's sports for years. Because without men's sports, women's sports would not be funded. But we got to be realistic. Women don't even watch women's sports. I can't even count, 18 years, 16 years of basketball, volleyball. I ran track. I don't watch any of them. I don't watch any women's sports. If I do watch a game, it's men's. Okay.
The eyeballs. And men want to watch men play sports. Men very rarely want to watch women play sports. And so if women try to market themselves outside of their sport, Nelly Korda doing SI, they're condemned for it, even though men do the body issue. So as you can see, there are still a lot of challenges that women face in the sports industry.
Cry me a river. Cry me a river.
And to the women,
I hate to say it, ladies, if we want a sports league, it's going to have to be like a thong. I'm not saying I don't want us to do this, right? I'm just saying if your goal is sell tickets, it's going to have to be a half naked league. I just don't see it happening any other way because we're just not that entertaining. We're not.
wear what you want to wear, say what you want to say, do what you want to do, because no matter what you do, how you do it, you will always get pushback and someone will always have something to say. So do what you want to do and keep pushing. I also want to mention that that is also a really great message for all men. Do what you want and keep pushing towards your passions. I know when I talk about these issues, it sounds as if I'm saying all men are bad and they don't face challenges. That is not true. I can speak about this because I'm a woman and I can relate to what
I think I just lost brain cells, guys. I really think I did.
other women are facing, but I also have an understanding that men are facing challenges as well in their respected industries. So that is just a good message for everyone.
Oh my goodness.
So I saw this on
Okay,
X.
so what made this even funnier? So the guy who made the original post said, "Hi, Paige. That segment was forced box checking, not merit based. It's strange that we are expected to pretend it's totally normal to go from listening to Nick Saban, the most accomplished coach in history, break down the game, to throwing to three women who have never played a snap at any level. Had it been one woman with a former coach and a former player, it would not have caught my eye. But the reason this post has gone viral is because everyone noticed the same thing I did and knows it is a clear example of prioritizing quotas and diversity over experience." And she responds, let me find. Where did I go? Where did it go? Oh my gosh, did she delete it? She had a response that was really funny. Oh my so funny. Anyways, this is just another example of us being given things that we didn't earn and then claiming that we're discriminated against. Had she had come out and not acted like an influencer, people or had, contributed some very good talking points and discussions, no one would have even noticed her gender. But unfortunately, it's just not the same. All right, Joel says, don't complain to me. I have men's sports to watch where all the females at the WNBL games. If you guys have a comment, go to theaudacitynetwork.com. And I will read your comment. Okay. Last but not least, I wanted to tell you guys about the Daniel Penny case. So, as you guys know, Daniel Penny got into an altercation with a homeless man on the subway. So, Daniel Penny, essentially, this man was threatening to kill people on the subway. He was threatening to attack people. And Daniel Penny was a former Marine. And so he took the liberty of restraining him on the subway. Now, unfortunately, because this was a schizophrenic drug addict who had multiple felonies, he died after he left the subway. Now, unfortunately for Daniel Penny, he was actually prosecuted for this case. So he actually, the last 2 years, has been in court being prosecuted for murder. Now, there was some good news in all of this, is that he was actually just found not guilty. So on all charges, he is officially a free man. Now, I'm first going to show you guys some of the footage that's being released of him talking about the case and the response from Black Lives Matter and other organizations. And then I want to talk about the lesson that men are learning from this.
I take the subway multiple times a day. In this East Village in Manhattan, so I take the subway multiple times a day. In this instance, I was coming from school. I got out of class around 2:15, and I took I was at J Street Metro Tech, took the Uptown F train. At 2nd Avenue, a man came on, stumbled on. He appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. And the 3 main threats that he repeated over and over was, I'm going to kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die. This was a scary situation. And Mr. Nearly came on. He was threatening. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me. So and there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage. And courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. And, I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Nearly for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this is about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color. A man who helped restrain Mr. Neely was a person of color. A few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of those people that I was trying to protect. We were all scared. Mr. Neely was yelling in these passengers' faces, and they looked terrified. The reason why there was no video at the start of the altercation was because people were too afraid getting away from him, and the videos didn't start until they saw that situation was under control. I knew I had to act, and I acted in a way that would protect the other passengers, protect myself, and protect Mr. Neely. I used this hold to restrain him, and I did this by leaving my hand on top of his head to control his body You could see in the video there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he was still breathing. And I'm calibrating my grip based on the force that he's exerting. And I mean, I was trying to keep him on the ground until the police came. I was praying that the police would come and take this situation over. I didn't want to be put in that situation, but I couldn't just sit still and let him carry out these threats.
Okay. Now, next we have him celebrating at the bar after, I think. Yeah. So this is him celebrating at the bar with his lawyers after the case. So look at. And then got one more. I think we have a video of them there. Yeah. Look at, he looks really happy.
Yeah.
He's feeling good. He's feeling good. He's feeling good.
What's up? What's up together? How's it going? How's it feel?
Feels great. He's finally got the justice he's deserved.
Did you think it was going to happen?
Sorry?
Were you surprised?
No, we think that this should have happened probably on day one, but the important thing is it happened. So we can't control the timing of it, but we can certainly savor the outcome.
And why do you think it was not guilty?
That's
Instead
him. That's that guy.
Well, he's not guilty on a few different reasons. Because his actions were justified. He was trying to help people on that train, and he did. And number two, he's not responsible for the death because the death was caused by a lot of other factors that we tried to present with a lot of clarity, such as the K2 abuse and the sickling crisis, and cardiac issues. Not to mention the paranoid schizophrenia, which only added to that impact. So I'm just glad that the jury was able to truly evaluate that as a potential cause of death, and that Danny was justified in the actions that he took.
Okay. And then, okay, so now on conservative Twitter, you think everybody's supporting this case, right? You see all of the big commentators saying, thank God he's free. And you almost think there's a tide turning, right? Because the public perception isn't what it was 5-10 years ago on a case like this. And I think part of the reason is because smartphones are allowing us to see more points of view that maybe we couldn't see 5-10 years ago. They're more common. People are taking videos. There's cameras everywhere. However, I think this is going to increase the number of men that are not going to step in situations like that. Now, you might think, well, he was found not guilty. But the way that men are going to see it, or a lot of men are going to see it, is he's had the last 2 years of his life ruined. It's not like he can go out and live a normal life while being on trial. So he's had to spend the last 2 years of his life putting everything on hold in order to fight this case. On top of that, he is going to now need to pay for security. He will never be able to live a normal life again. Now, there could be some pros that come out of this. Maybe he runs for a public office. Maybe he has a media career. I don't know. I think he's going to make the best of a bad situation. But it's also come out that the guy, Jordan Needy's father, has come out and said he is going to be taking him to civil court. So now he's got to go through another court case. And you know, I think as you increase the cost of male protection, you know, I think at some point men are going to say, what do I get out of this? What do I get out of protecting women? Women as a group haven't been the best to men over the last 50 years. You know, and it makes me beg the question, do we really deserve protection if we can go buy a gun just like the men? Why are we entitled to protection from men we don't know? And I went on Tim Pool like 6 months ago, and there was a story that we covered, and it was of a woman that was getting raped on a train in front of a whole group of people, and nobody stepped in. And I covered another case, I think 3 to 4 months ago, of a woman that got robbed at gunpoint and nobody stepped in. And we wonder, men have a biological instinct to protect women, the same way women have a biological instinct to protect children. And society has treated them so poorly in cases like this, where they are now overriding their biological instinct in order to think about the consequences of potentially helping somebody. Alexander says the most expensive male protection becomes the less women can afford it. Exactly. As we keep increasing the price of male protection, I don't think it's wrong for men to not step in. And I completely understand why they don't. And you get even cases that I've covered where a woman looks like she's being abused by a man, and it turns out that man's her boyfriend. And the guy gets beat up, and she ends up going back to the boyfriend. So, if women are choosing not to get guns, if women are choosing to vote Democrat policies that are weak on crime, allow illegal immigration in, and make all these catastrophic decisions like going out late at night, traveling alone, not getting married young. If these are the choices we make, why are we entitled to protection? Now, I want to show you guys the BLM response, and I just thought this was completely ridiculous. So this is the response of Black Lives Matter to Daniel Penny being found not guilty.
We need some black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us?
Right.
I'm tired. We need some black vigilantes.
Oh my gosh. I'm just going to show you guys the next one. They want a black vigilante. Yeah, the NAACP tweeted, the acquittal of Daniel Penny and the death of Jordan Neely has effectively given license for vigilante justice to be waged on the black community without consequence. It's a painful reminder of the inequalities in our justice system. Jordan deserved compassion. Instead, he was met with violence. We stand with his family in calling for accountability. And this is what he's going to have to deal with the rest of his life. And it reminds me of a story. So I was talking to someone about the January 6th protests. And I have a tendency to view people that tell the truth regardless of the consequences as very brave, even if I agree or I disagree with them. I had 2 guys on here once that just did not like each other. If you guys want to watch, I can't put their interviews on YouTube because they censor them. But a while ago, I had on Muhammad Hijab and Tommy Robinson. And if you know anything about their history, they do not like each other. But I still felt like both of them were brave in some way for like standing up for what they believe. Now, Tommy Robinson has actually been arrested in the UK, and he spent years of his life in jail for that. And it's similar to the January 6th protests. But, I don't like to say who I talked to. I don't want people, but I spoke to someone recently, and I asked if they viewed the men that do that as brave or stupid. And it actually amazed me, the female versus male perception of it, because all the men I talked to said, I view them as stupid, because what did we get out of, say, January 6th? What did you get out of being put in jail for this? What did you get out of protecting women that hate you? And at some point, men are going to view, or a significant amount of men are going to view protecting women as stupid, because what do they get out of it? And I can't really blame them from that point of view, because you can't, many people have tried to out alpha the state, but nobody can. The Tates tried, they ended up fighting a court case for 3 years. Honestly, just going to court is punishment enough. Even if you end up beating the case, that's a time you can never get back. And if you look at the response and how aggressive these protesters are, I think he's going to have people protesting outside his house. He's going to need to hire security for the rest of his life. And, right now he can afford a GoFundMe or whatever, but that's a target that's going to be on his back forever. Or, hopefully it dies down, but you don't know how long this will last.
Breaking news. The jury has reached a unanimous verdict in the case of Daniel Penny. He's been found not guilty on the charge of criminally negligent homicide. Now, remember what was at stake here. The jury could not agree on manslaughter. They failed to agree twice. The judge gave them another bite at the apple on this lesser charge, negligent. They now say not guilty. What does this mean? Let's first go to reporter CB Cotton, who's outside the courthouse, to find out how this has played out. Now, I hear an immediate melee of protesters, CB.
Hi, Harris, that's right. Protesters are pretty upset. There's a large crowd of them out here next to me. You can hear them rattling the police barricades, saying no justice, no peace. And what they're yelling now follows a series of threats that they hurled earlier as the defense walked in with their client, Daniel Penny, telling the defense team that Daniel Penny can have no peace here in New York if he's found not guilty on this lesser charge, criminally negligent homicide. And from what
now you have BLM saying he gets no peace in New York. Now he's lost his, I don't know if it's home state, but where he was happily living before. Was it worth it? That's a question every man's got to decide for himself. But you're going to get more and more men saying that this is just, the juice on this is just not worth the squeeze.
Right now, they're repeating those threats. They are very angry. Harris, I also want to mention there were a couple people here this morning to support Daniel Penny, but the anti-Penny crowd far outweighs them, and they seem pretty upset. We're seeing police officers come out here in droves to try to keep the two groups separated for now. But I'm looking at our notes from the courtroom, and it seems like this is the first time we've seen some real emotion from Daniel Penny. His attorneys told me this morning that this trial has understandably taken a toll on him. He's been spending time with family and friends to try to stay calm. And our courtroom reporter telling me for the first time she sees him visibly smile, now hearing that jurors have decided he is not guilty of criminally negligent homicide.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Unfortunately, the ladies, not all, but a lot of women have been voting Democrat for too long. And this is the result. So we can't be mad if we're not protected in public anymore, if men aren't stepping in, if this is how we treat the men that do. So that's really my only point for today. Let me read the last comment. Society has damaged beyond repair because men aren't allowed to be masculine. They're punished for it. Jacob, yes, Pearl, going to court, even if you're acquitted, is called punishment by the process, or the process as a punishment. Joel, feminists broke the social contract and now wonder why men aren't willing to risk their own freedom to defend them. And, that's where you kind of, for me, it begs the question, is stepping in to defend women, is it stupid at this point? Because the result could be going to jail. Is that worth your entire life being ruined, potentially sitting the rest of your life in jail? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if there's anything you want me to react to this week. I might do the rest of the polygamy thing tomorrow. If you guys want me to, let me know. The one I started on Friday. Like the video on your way out and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.